This is the iPhone 16 Pro. It is one of the most advanced pocketable camera devices ever made by Apple. You want to make sure you have the best camera settings to maximize its full potential. Before you guys get too excited and pull out your phone and start following along and changing all these settings that I recommend, I need to bring you into the concept of how this actually all comes together to produce the best video and picture quality out of such a device like this. The first one is, if you see that like button down there, if you see that subscribe button, make sure you hit those two things. The second part is that we need to understand what Apple is trying to achieve here. So in the past, a lot of the times when you purchase a brand new iPhone, whether it's like up to the 13 Pro, it pretty much was already automated. So you would take a photo and you would have that iPhone look. However, what's Apple been doing in the later models is giving you back control. And with control comes mistakes, but it also comes choosing the right method to get the best outcome for yourself. And that's what we're going to work through together today. Number 3 is my concept on this setup is to get you to have two options. Number 1 is to have a pro mode and a quick mode. And you can bounce between these two options and ensure that you end up having the quickest ability to take photos regardless of the situation in the highest quality. And the fourth concept that we need to understand is just how photos and videos work in general. You actually have 3 things that you need to be aware of. You have the capture, which is what the camera is collecting, the data that it's receiving, the data that it's saving in a file. Then you have the editing, so what you're using to edit the software and edit that capture and pull out as much detail as you can. And then you have the delivery, so where the delivery is going to go, how it's going to be saved, in what file format. And those things are going to be important to remember as we choose and go through these settings so you actually understand what is happening. The first thing I'm going to get you to do is to go into your settings option here and go down to camera. Now, the camera option up the top, the camera control part, is to do with the new camera control button on the side of the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro. Now, the way that I set this up is that clean preview is off. And what clean preview off means is that when you press the button, it removes the settings from the screen. But I don't like that because I want to be able to also use a touch screen to change things. I've got lock, focus, and exposure on, which is when you press down the camera control button lightly, it locks in the exposure so you can reframe your image. And I have it set just with a single click to launch the camera straight out of the pocket. So as I pull it out of my pocket, bang, straight into the camera and I'm shooting. And if I hold it down, it actually will shoot a video too. So it makes it very easy for that quick burst. Now, this part here is photographic styles. And photographic styles is the new thing that they've introduced around changing the tones of your skin, giving the image a bit of a look automatically in the capture, saved for delivery. But we don't want that. We want flexibility. We want control. So what I've done is I left it as standard. And after I've taken a photo, I can go in and change those settings. Now, the reason why this works is if we go over here into formats, you'll see that I'm shooting in high efficiency and videos are recorded in HEVC. But because we're recording in those two different formats, it allows us in the Apple Photos app to change the photographic styles to whatever we want because it retains that information from the capture. And it also allows us to then use some cool settings, which includes spatial audio, which allows us to change the audio quality of what we've recorded in these different modes that Apple has developed for the iPhone. And personally, I haven't found a massive use to it, but again, we're here for control, right? So now that those two things are there, we're going to go jump over here into the record video. And I chose 24 frames per second at 4K. That's the highest image quality as a default. And that gives the most smoothest image that looks the most realistic. Stabilization is on, action mode and lower light is on, HDR is off, because I don't really find too much value in having HDR because not everyone has a device that can see it, and it's going to be a bit funky when it comes to your editing. And auto FPS is off, so we don't want the frame rate to change. We want the lock camera to be off, and we want white balance to be on when we are recording, so there's no weird shifts. So we want to lock that white balance into place. Slow motion, 4K at 120, that's the full highest quality you can get. And now cinematic mode, again, is also going to be at 4K, 24 frames per second. And down here, back into formats, what we're going to do is we're going to put the photo capture mode to the highest quality, which is 24 megabytes. And we're going to turn on ProRaw and resolution control. And then in here is another depth of formats, but I'm going to explain this. So you remember how I was saying that when you're shooting an image, it's capturing in a container. So when we're shooting RAW, we want to contain as much information as we can to do more things with it. So as I shoot a ProRAW photo, meaning a photo that I want to edit later and make changes, and it's very important for me, I want to maximize the image quality. And what I found is that ProRaw Max is the best option. And then the option down here, which is ProRAW format, which is what you're saving it in, is JPEG XL lossless. Now, I don't want any of these other settings. I actually want this set up like this. And it allows us to still retain all the information that we need, but at the highest quality. And also with JPEG lossless, it allows a little bit more information within inside the image to take the photo. But you need to be careful, because if you want to use this and send it to people, you will need to export it from your Photos app in order to allow that JPEG image to be saved that's more readable across different things. But a lot of people are supporting this now. So try it, but if they don't receive it, you know why. Down the bottom, Apple ProRes capture is off for video, but we'll get to that one in a second, and it's a really amazing update that I found. Now over here to preserve settings, everything is on, because when I edit a photo or take a photo in the capture camera, I want it to remember the controls. So if I pull it back out, I want it to remember what I set the things to. Now I use the volume rocker still to do a burst photo, scan QR codes, show detected text. That's to do with Apple Intelligence and just using some other functionality of the camera. We were on grid on, level on. I chose mirror for the front camera to be off, purely because I don't like that style. Like I'd rather see exactly what I'm capturing. And then view outside the frames if you want the whole image to show you the picture above and beyond, but I kind of find it a bit confusing having that on. Now down here into this. So on the back of the iPhone, you have obviously 3 cameras. Now the highest quality camera is actually called a fusion camera, and it's like 3 focal lengths in one lens. But personally, the widest option is the best, which is the default. But I tend to use 35 as well, just because I like that focal length when I take photos. So as you can see here, I disable 28 because I just don't see any huge advantage having that there. And then portraits in photo, that's again how I was explaining earlier. When you have these settings inside the phone, it's going to allow us to edit those photos in a way that we want to. So if you capture a photo of someone and you later want to go and do the edits in portrait mode, if you have this on, it's going to capture all the information for you to choose and have that flexibility. I turn prioritize faster shooting off, so it will slow down when taking the shot, but it will still retain the highest image quality. Lens correction is on, and macro control means that when I turn on the camera, it's going to allow me to have an option to turn the macro option off. That's what you want to have set up inside the camera settings app. Now let's jump to some other important aspects. If I'm going to shoot a video, what I've done is I set my home screen here to have an app that I downloaded from the App Store called Final Cut Camera. And the reason why I use this is because of this main option here. So you know how a lot of people are saying, don't shoot ProRes video, you know, you need to have an external device and record on. Of course, what a headache, right? But Apple recently introduced an option to record in log, which is that as you're capturing the photo, it's reducing that gamma curve and it's squashing all the information together to retain as much highlight information and shadow information as possible for you then to pull out with editing, which is that pro mode that I'm talking about. So what I've done is I've turned log here on down the bottom. I've turned on log to SDR, preview with LUT. So it's going to show me how it will look when I've added the LUT in editing. And then down here, stabilization is on, meaning that this Final Cut app actually does a better job at stabilizing your video footage versus other third parties. That's why I like using this. And I want to be quick. Like I want to do a pro photo, but I want to be quick. And this is the easiest way to do it. You can change this out by using other apps like DaVinci to shoot video and so forth. But if you're in that stage, you already know most of the stuff that I'm talking about. Now, tools, again, we're going to turn on all these options here, and then we're going to do overexposure, and we're also going to do focus peaking so we can see exactly what we're overexposed on and what's focused, especially when you're shooting and tapping on the screen trying to set your exposure for the shot. And then audio is going to be this device because I'm recording from the camera. Now, the interesting thing is, as you see here in the codec, which is the container, which I was mentioning earlier, this is actually a HEVC file, which is really small. It's compressed data. It's the same format that the expensive Sony cameras use. Now, the advantage with that is that you're going to be able to record ProRes log, sorry, it's not ProRes, it's log gamma curve in the container of HEVC. And then you can bring that footage in from your phone and you can record, as you can see, 2 hours of it and start editing it on a computer. So this workflow for me, when I walking around and I just want to do some quick shots and stuff, is a very easy setup to get the best image quality out of the device. So as you guys can see, the amount of control that you have with inside the camera app and even separate apps like Final Cut Pro to record log footage onto your iPhone without having external devices, man, it's a lot. So if you guys have any tips and suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear them and I'd love to answer them. But what I plan on doing is in the next video, I'm going to go out and about and explain to you my methodology and theory when I'm taking photos and how I put all this to use. So if you like that and you would want to watch it, hit that subscribe button and I'll catch you guys soon. Peace be with you.